What's going on, y'all? This is Mike Brown, and I want to welcome y'all to this week's episode of The Art of Letting Go. Today, I have a special guest, musician, multidisciplinary creative, Javelle. We met at GLAAD's Black Queer Creative Summit, and we had a really dope conversation about our journeys and how they aligned, and we got deep. So I'm excited for y'all to get into this episode. Thank you so much for listening, and enjoy the show. Yo, what up? This is Mike Brown, and this is The Art of Letting Go. Today, I have a special guest in the building. We met at GLAAD's Black Queer Creative Summit. I came to, actually, our birthdays are like a couple of days apart.
Literally, I think it's like 2.
Because you're the 14th?
Mhm.
That's my dad's birthday.
Yeah, I think you told me that too.
I'm the 11th, but I had the opportunity to celebrate your birthday with you. Your 30th birthday.
I know.
Which is really dope. I would say you are I would call you a multi-discipline artist, polymath of sorts. Everybody welcome Javelle to the podcast.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
How you feeling today?
I'm good. Thinking about the next 2 months and how I'm going to end the year, reviewing my year, seeing where I was tested and whether I actually learned. So that's where I'm at. Very reflective.
You know what? The end of the year is always very reflective for me. I guess what I would love to do is talk about your journey up to where our journeys have aligned.
Okay.
But before I go there, how has it been being 30?
Oh, great question. So when I was like 17, I kind of set out on this journey, which is funny that you brought it, to essentially create the person that I was going to be at 30. Like, you don't just wake up one day.
That's really dope.
And a lot of the things I did accomplish, some of them I did not. But what I'm reveling in is the idea that I created the man that I wanted to be.
Man.
So it's been great.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's really dope. So, like I said, kind of backtracking, what has your journey been like as a Black queer man? Like, what was I'm trying to reframe coming out, but what was your journey of inviting in people to your sexuality?
So for me, it goes way back to like high school. Actually, a little more before that, but where it started to make sense was around high school.
Okay.
And let's just say those were some very dark times.
Yeah.
Very, very dark. Because I am Caribbean. And let's just say it did not pan out in the most light, positive way. Which, of course, around certain ages, that can send you down some spirals, which, I did. But again, that's why the age of 17 sticks out to me a lot, because it was like the moment where it really, really was like sink or swim.
Yeah.
Like sink or swim, if you understand what I'm trying to say. And I was like, you know what? I can figure out my life in my own way.
Yeah.
If people are meant to catch up, then they will.
Yeah.
If they don't, then it is what it is.
That's real.
And, a couple of years back, my mom and we had a very brief discussion, like reviewing back, in which it was very healing. Certain things were, said and said. And
that's dope.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. But now I'm just like sitting in all the joy that it brings, because we tend to forget that there is joy there.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Did you have community when you were coming up?
So yes and no. Around that age again, I went to LaGuardia.
Okay.
Performing Arts High School.
I saw that Azalea Banks.
We got some
Nicki
names up in there. We got some names.
And Javelle.
Yeah, thank you.
You
So it wasn't strange for me to be around it and see it. You know what I'm saying? In fact, it was like more so like, oh, your parents are clear with us? You cool? But what ended up happening was I'm an only child.
Yeah.
And my love for my family at that time superseded myself.
Yeah.
So that's around the age where you're like, oh my God, I could change something. I could do something. So I really did try.
Yeah.
Like I really, like, if you known anything about my personality is I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna do something and I'm gonna do it.
I'm
So
the same way.
so for me that included like there were certain people that I would talk to, I stopped talking to them. There was this one guy I remember on the train. We used to see each other every morning. Stopped talking to him.
Wow.
Listen, I was like, you are going to fix this. This is a problem. Figure it out.
Yeah.
And let's just say I figure it. And there are moments in life where you're like faced with just like some hard truths.
Yeah.
And that was one of them. So for me, the understanding of who I was wasn't necessarily the most beautiful moment back then.
Yeah.
So that's why something like where we met means the world to me.
Yeah.
Because not only am I finding the community, but I'm like healing the damage that I did back then, you know?
That's really dope to hear. Looking back, what type of support do you wish that you had, or not wish, but like what support do you feel like you would have needed at that time in your life?
You know, it's crazy. I think I had, this sounds like such an oxymoron, but I feel like I had at the time the support that I needed,
Yeah.
even though there were certain areas where it wasn't there. I guess you can say my aunt, huge support system, would not be here without her today. Certain friends that I knew at that time wouldn't be here without them today. So
Yeah.
it's like, I felt like it was balanced.
Yeah.
Where I wasn't like, even though I was an only child, I wasn't completely alone, even though sometimes I would isolate and foster that feeling within me. But at the end of the day, I was never alone.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty spiritual too. So it was God along too with me.
Man, I'm curious to know what was that like for you, because I know for myself
hmm
in my journey,
Yeah.
I've always felt a connection to God,
hmm
but at the same time, you know, going to church, being in
hmm
spaces where you almost feel this feeling of like invalidation. For me, it made me deny myself in a
hmm
sense. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like, I was in denial of my own sexuality, of this fear of I might go to hell, you know? So like how were you able to overcome that, like still be connected
Yeah.
spiritually while still, being your full self?
You know, it's crazy. I think what I went through and who I am actually made my faith stronger because if everything and everyone within it is telling you the most obscene and negative things about it, it takes like a real, true faith to be like, I hear you, but that's not what my spirit's saying.
You absolutely right.
Yeah, I'm gonna get real with you right now.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever, well, maybe like some of my closest friends know this, but like what I meant by like the whole sink or swim idea after, really like trying, like I told you the actions that I took.
Yeah.
There was this moment in my shower and it's like, I would say the second time, but the main time where I was like, damn, if there was ever a time where I would have ended it,
Man.
it would have been that day. And I
Man.
remembered I was in the shower and I was crying. I was crying so bad because I was like, dang, like I did everything. Everything. Why is this not working? And I was just like, you know what? It's time.
Yeah.
And I swear to you, some people don't think I'm crazy. Some people gonna be like, he capping. But no, in that moment, I I heard a voice. It wasn't my own voice. It was like, it's weird to explain what it was, but it was very loud and it was very clear. And it said to me, I knew your life would be hard, but I gave you all the tools to get through it. And I kid you not, off the top of my head, I just started singing a song. I
Yeah.
started making it up as I was going along. And I hopped out the shower and one of my friends, she was going to school at NYU and she was doing the Clive Davis program. So I
Yeah.
hopped out the shower and got like a text from her. She's like, I'm doing my final project. Love to have you on. Love to
Wow.
have you on. We could do an original or a cover. And then next thing you know, we recorded it. And even then I was like, nah, this is crazy.
Bring the mic a little closer.
I was like, nah, this is crazy. I was like, no one's ever going to believe this at
Yeah.
all. Like, what serendipity, what are the odds that that were to happen to me? So I go testing it again.
Yeah.
So we recorded it. And at first I was trying to sell it because I didn't necessarily see myself as the artist.
Yeah.
But every time I tried to sell it, someone was like, no, that's you. That's your song. I was like,
Wow.
I was mad because I'm like,
Yeah.
somebody take this song.
Yeah.
And then I remember there was one night where I was just thinking back on the idea of that. And I was just like, yo, if all of this is real, if what I'm going through is a part of my story, give me another sign.
Yeah.
Kid you not. Kid you not. The producer at the time, she texted me and she was just like, Javelle, you won't believe what just happened. I was like, what happened? She was like, my computer crashed and I lost everything I've worked
Oh
on
my gosh.
but your song.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, heard. Heard. And, she was one of those people that I was open with. And, I told her, I was like, sorry, sis, I did say it. She was like, don't you ever in your life do something like that. I'm like, I got you. So yeah, it all made me just that much stronger and searching inside versus like outside, because a lot of the times I would have to look for community, for everything, when literally everything is inside. And it literally took my darkest moment
I'm sure
for that to happen.
I understand. I'm glad you were able to come out of that.
Oh yeah.
How big of a role has your art and your creativity been in your journey of healing? After you finish listening to this episode, make sure you take a minute in whatever streaming service you are listening to listen to my latest music project called Desert Thoughts. There's 2 versions of it. One is on SoundCloud, one is on all streaming services, featuring Yanni Blue, Eddie Wayne, DDM, and so much more. You guys will really enjoy it. It's like an inspirational piece that I needed some motivation while I was in the desert, so I wanted to share that with y'all. So take a listen to some of my deepest inner thoughts that I experienced while being in the desert on this nomadic journey. It's available now. Check it out.
I like to say that it keeps me sane.
Yeah.
Like, this world is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
This world is dark. And there are a lot of healing that everyone needs to do. But for me, I feel like I haven't lost my mind and I haven't gone off the rails because I do have my outlets,
Yeah.
And it's like, there are moments where I'll just wake up in the middle of the night and I'll be restless and I'll be like, okay, I need to create. Or it could be something as simple as I go through something traumatic. Oh my God, if you listen to my discography, you're just like, damn, what is he going on? Because it all serves as like almost like a diary. Like, you could play a song and be like, what was Javelle thinking about at this point in his life? You'd be like, oh, okay. Damn, somebody broke his heart. Damn. So like now I'm understanding that my art isn't just for me as well, where it's like I'm singing things that I am hoping will connect with people and help them through their own stuff.
Yeah.
Like, like with Apple and Spotify, you can see like who plays stuff and stuff like that sometimes. Sometimes I'll go and I'll be like, what are they listening to? So I could like try to gauge what I should be writing. Not that I try to do that too much because I want it to be as authentic as possible.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of times a few weeks ago, someone like out in the Midwest was like listening to one of them called Worth It.
Okay.
Which talks about you being like understanding that you're worth it and deserving of love and all this stuff. And they were playing it back to back to back to back.
Wow.
And I was just like, you know what? Whatever you're going through, I see it.
Yeah,
and I hope it helps.
Shout out to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. So, how did you end up at the Black Queer Summit? First, what made you apply?
Okay. So I had literally just quit my job. Actually, I quit my job in August of 2022. I used to help co-manage and co-produce the Met Gala.
Okay.
Which, again, remember I told you I set out on this journey to become this person that I saw at 30. I got to manage it at 27 and 28. 29, I let it go, which is probably one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do in my life, because it's like, damn, you are here. You are in the room. you are with the people that you have always wanted to associate yourself with.
Yeah.
And it was very hard. It was very hard, but also the decision to give it up was one of those moments, again, when I'm listening to Inside and I'm like, what should I do? What's next? And if it's not aligning with who I am, then I have to let it go.
Yeah.
And in letting go, weirdly enough, my music did come up. I won't say too much about my departure, but for my music to come up in the departure, it was like,
Oh, wow.
I was like,
Wow.
okay, weaponizing my music against me, cool.
Yeah.
But I left and I've been freelancing and it was tough. Like again, stand by my decision, stand by everything that I did within that time frame. But it was just like, okay, so what now? Like, you've been working towards this.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? This is the time now to put everything into the music. This is your cue. This is the moment. So that's what I started doing. I started planning some music videos, some new music. And I don't remember whether someone shared it with me or whether I came across, I think someone shared it with me. But I literally saw the application. I was like, why not?
Yeah.
It couldn't hurt.
Yeah.
And I did, and then I forgot about it. I was just like, "Oop, next."
I did mine up until the very last minute.
Really?
For some reason, in my head, I thought that I wouldn't be accepted in it.
Mm,
And if I'm being so honest, and I feel like I can be honest because we're sitting here talking,
mhm.
but I see the sites like Native Son and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and I don't feel like I fit in the box of what aesthetically
Mm.
a lot of our Black queer
Mhm,
spaces
mhm, mhm.
present as what it means to be Black and queer. You know what I mean? So I didn't know that I would be accepted, but when I was, it was just like, man, I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
And then there was the arrival. How did you feel once you arrived?
Well, first of all, sorry that you feel that way.
I appreciate that.
Let's sit in that for a minute. I
Yeah.
think that is like a real thing, but also it's created within our minds as well.
For sure. For sure.
Where it is real, but
For sure.
it might not be as heavy.
And I'll tell you, for me, being at the Black Queer Summit, that was one of the few times I've been able to see a spectrum of
Yes, they did a
Black queerness,
really
like
great job.
age ranges,
Yeah.
people from everywhere. It felt like college for me. I went
Yeah.
to HBCU, and that's what it felt like. Like I remember being in high school and, you know, being a little left of center in my Blackness. So
Yeah.
there was a feeling of being less than. And then now going into queer spaces and my queerness being a little left of center and feeling less than.
Yeah.
So to go to a space where it's like, you Black, you queer, you here, be yourself.
Yeah.
That felt
yeah.
amazing.
So for me, I literally had done Fashion Week the week leading up.
Wow.
So I was exhausted. I probably didn't look it, but I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And I remember getting on the plane and having my ideas in my mind. And actually, even before, the moment I got the acceptance, I was like, okay, this will be huge. So how am I going to, this is just the thing that I do. And I hope everyone does it too. But it's just like, I'm like, how can I get the most out of this experience?
Yeah.
And so I ended up like having my strategy, and I was like, I'm going to walk in there with this and that and this and that and this, which, you know, worked out in my favor because I don't know if you noticed, but I love clothes.
Yeah.
So I wanted to tell certain stories even via my clothes.
That's dope.
I was like, every single outfit was chosen meticulously for the day, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So arriving. The first thing that I do remember is immediately the openness.
Yeah.
I was like talking to people on the plane, and you could tell that it was something that everyone needed.
Yeah.
And there are different ways in which I explain the experience to people. The one that I think hits it on the head for me is, you ever like gone to Pride and you've seen everyone so happy, et cetera, et cetera. And then you see all the Black queer kids starting to remove their stuff when it's time to go home. They're taking off the flags, they're taking off the this. Well, to me, it felt like the antithesis of that.
Yeah.
You know, it was like day one, we were gay. Day two, we were gayer. By the last day, the building was on fire.
Yeah.
Like it was, the energy was,
That's hilarious.
I really shout out to Deshaun Usher and Jim Walker and everyone at GLAAD, because it's like, I will probably be talking about that till the day I die.
You know, I had the opportunity to have Julian on the podcast, and Julian, just his words, but also just his intentionality about the things he does, his music, everything. It's a special person. And I knew just him being associated with that, I knew it was going to be dope.
That's good. That's good. See, that was my first introduction to them. But you can always tell, for the most part, how an event will feel or how it will run from the top down. And immediately on arrival, I remembered I went up and said, "Thank you." And they both hugged me. They ain't never met me a day in their life. And they were like, "Come on in." And I was like, I was like, okay, strategy is not going out the window. But, you know, my guard came down. You know?
Yeah.
And again, I was so tired.
And that's funny you mentioned the strategy, because I definitely was like, I got these business cards, I got this, I got that.
Listen.
And it was like, it ain't about nothing.
Hold on.
It is, but also, you know.
I mean.
It is, but like you said, it was safe enough you didn't have to be that 24/7.
Exactly. And in fact, they welcomed that.
Yeah.
You know, they were like, if you need a second, go to the room.
Yeah.
Take a nap.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to you today. Because no, I remember either it was like the very, very first night or the very, very last night where I was waiting at my elevator. And again, my body was just like so tired.
Yeah.
And I just remember just breathing in and out at the elevators. In and out. And then I was like, you know what? I got this. And the minute I said that, the doors for the elevator opened and everyone was like, and I was just like, this is everything and more than I could expect, you know?
Yeah. How did you feel after the summit?
I felt like I went to LA. One person came back another. I think it was one of the last pieces in my own personal story that would create the person that I told you that I was building for 30. So it almost felt like a birthday present.
Yeah.
Shout out to GLAAD again. Thanks for the birthday present. But it kind of felt that way because I came back and the idea of letting go of my job, and even here's another point, letting go of the idea that it was mine. Like when I applied, I literally did it and I was like, okay, cool. And that went even deeper where it was just like, yes, now I'm in this version of my life where I'm, you know, doing the music full time, but I've also let go of the idea that it needs to happen.
Man.
And I think the moment I did 100% let go, I was like, you know what? I would love to be on the greatest stage. I would love to do top 10s. I would love to do, you know, and, you know, I'm going to do my best to get there.
For sure.
But I think the moment where I was just like, and even if that doesn't come to me, I'm okay. I think that opened me up to like just.
And I think just with what you're doing, is putting yourself out there, you know, having a top 10 might be the easy thing to do. Like really, really touching people and impacting people.
Right.
Is like
priceless.
Yeah.
And that's where I do want to lean too. You know, like I have different people giving me ideas all the time and telling me, oh, you should do more pop or you should do more this. And I'm just like, if my soul and body calls for it, I'll do it. It'll come. Like once in a while, I'll be like, okay, I'm feeling this little pop move, but people are like, but we want more. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm working off of where I am.
Yeah.
So if I'm not in the most poppity pop mood, I'm not going to give you a poppity pop song.
Yeah.
It's James Woods, aka That Yoga Dude, with Feel Free to Feel Free. How are you committed? How are you committed to your growth, your wellness, your peace, your freedom? How does your commitment show up? In your routine, your actions, your behaviors, your relationships. Let's take a moment to commit to your health, your peace, your freedom. With deep inhales, relaxed mind and body, and the focus on the present. Staying committed to being here in this moment with relaxation, peace, healing in every breath. Let's take a deep inhale to the nose. And relax, release. Breathe in through the nose. Fill up the lungs, the belly, and let it all go. Stay focused on the breath. Feeling the calm in the body. Stay focused on the present moment. Let's take one more deep breath here. And come back to the breath. As always, feel free to feel free, and namaste. Peace.
How do you keep your integrity as an artist without giving in to, like you said, people wanting different things from you? Like, how do you stay true to what is true to JaVale?
Just say no. If I don't feel it, I just say no. I'll be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I can't do that. No. And a lot of us tend to attach opportunity as like this like big thing. Like, oh my God, if I miss this, I'll never get another chance again. No, I'll say no. And it may circle back. And if it circle back, it might be even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope. And kind of going back to the Black Queer Summit, because just as we've been able to connect, what do you see as far as like building community outside of the summit and continuing that flow of community?
So for me, I am very big on community. You were at the party, and someone else who was at the party, I don't remember who it was. Oh, I do remember who it was. Do you remember Roman King?
Yes.
So he came up to me and he was just like, damn, you like love. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, there's just, a lot of people here. And then that kind of like sparked me to think like, oh, wow, you're right. These are people from like literally different stages of my life. Like there was the high school crew, the crew that I worked over here with, the crew that I worked over here with.
Like all the way to the most present.
Exactly.
That's beautiful.
And so for me, community, like sustaining it is very, very, very important to me.
Yeah.
In fact, I literally think that's why we're here.
Yes. Yeah.
The idea of just like, obviously personal growth and growing and stuff like that, but also helping each other.
Yeah.
I help you suffer less. You help me suffer less.
That's real. That's real.
But yeah, no, it's very big for me.
That's dope. That's dope. And my last question for this segment is, what's next for you creatively?
So I am currently planning my next music video, which again, I'm kind of like weird when I do like weird poetic stuff, even with myself. So like this month will make 6 years since I started my musical journey. And so I'm planning on dropping the music video on the same day that I dropped the very, 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 very first one. And also the song that I'm doing it for is called Dreaming. So the idea of just like not giving up on the dream and continuing and continuing. So that's what's next. And I am writing new music. I try to test myself vocally, lyrically. So for me, new projects, I always ponder on them quite a bit before I even like get going. But once I do, it's just like, okay, done.
Yeah.
So there's new music coming. There's new visuals coming. And also, I'm praying. But I've been working on this manuscript with Writer's House
Okay.
for the past 13 years.
Oh, wow.
I literally got an email this morning that they're gonna have the interns look at it. So I'm just like, hey, I don't want to do it anymore. So hopefully you just got an exclusive and I get published next
Okay.
year. So
Look,
hopefully,
I'm looking forward to when you are published so I can resurface this clip.
right?
I'm serious. I'm gonna be like, what's
I had
said
it
here
first.
Oh man, that's so cool. So
Mhm.
JaVale, this next segment of the show is called Ask Me a Question, and it's where I give the listeners the
Mhm.
opportunity to ask us questions.
Oh,
and I had a
perfect.
couple of them sent in. The first one was from All That in a Bag of Chips on Instagram.
I love that name.
Yes. And
Clever.
the question is, what goals do you have for 2024? Like, what are you excited about for 2024?
Well, I just told you the main one, which is finally put this manuscript to rest. And you know what's so funny? I can literally pull it up on my phone. Hold on.
Wow.
Hold on. Let's do this really, really quick. It'll take 2 seconds. Okay. So I want to help my younger cousin launch a website. Oh, this one's a little personal. Never mind. And write more music with my friend.
That's really dope. That's
Yeah.
really dope. I haven't written mine out yet. That is what I plan on doing this week. But my biggest one is I want to spend time outside of the country. And I'm starting with Mexico. So I'm looking at January for Mexico to spend like a month, possibly 2.
Oh, period. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel ready to explore more of the world.
I love that.
I appreciate that. Thank you, All That in a Bag of Chips, for that question.
I'm just going to keep laughing at the name all day.
I had a second question.
Mhm.
The person you are today, would your 10-year-old and 20-year-old self believe that you are who you are?
My 10-year-old self? Absolutely. Absolutely. I've always been a dreamer. Like even
Yeah.
younger. 5-year-old me, 3-year-old me would be like, yeah, he's going to be popping, bro. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? 20-year-old me, not so much.
Yeah.
20-year-old me would have been like, we here?
Right, yeah, yeah.
We're doing it? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. You know, so.
I agree with that. I think the 10-year-old version of me, and I appreciate you sharing that first because, yeah, that 10-year-old version of me, like everything that I'm doing right now is what I was doing as a kid, making up songs, recording myself, playing basketball. So
By the way, shout out to Desert
Thought.
Thought, right?
Oh, I appreciate that.
It's on repeat.
available now. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's I would definitely, but my 20-year-old, no.
Yeah.
Like, I think my 20-year-old would be intrigued by the person I am, but also afraid to be this free.
Nice. Wait, hold on. Piggybacking on the word free. So I know you've been trying to figure out a name for your supporters. Yeah, I'll be listening. And Yanni said the Let Goers, which I do like it. I really do. But I think like when we're talking about the art of letting go, it's the most freeing thing in the world.
Yeah.
And so maybe consider the free people. You heard it here first.
Okay. You know what? We're going to have a debate about this. So 2 episodes ago, my friend told me straight up, self-healer sounds lame, which is cool. I'll let go of self-healers. Johnny did say let goers.
Which is
People
cute.
like that one. But free people, I like that. We're going to have to do a little vote. We're going to have to vote and see what the people think. I like that. And my last question in this segment, it came from my sister, actually.
Oh,
And
come
I
on,
think it's a good question for
family.
both of us. Yeah. So the question was, who was the first person you came out to and why?
Hmm.
And actually, she was the first person I came out to. And it was because because my connection to her, I felt so close and I felt so not judged in that space that I knew regardless of whatever I shared, I would be supported. Now I felt confident in knowing that I would be supported. So I didn't feel afraid.
Yeah. So the first person that I like actually said it to, I don't know what happened, but we are no longer friends. But I remember, so I'm very direct.
Yeah.
Like almost too direct sometimes. So I remember we were watching like this dance recital, and I remember I kept looking at the guy, the girl, the guy, the girl, the guy, and I literally just turned to her, and I was like, I think I'm bi.
Yeah.
And she was like, what? So obviously there was a level of like safety there,
Yeah.
but I was just like, that. Okay, boom.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
That's what's up. That's dope. Thank you for that question. And our last segment is called 5 Questions of Freedom.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you 5 questions and you can respond in any way that you would like.
Okay.
So the first question is New York summer or New York winter?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm gonna go with New York winter.
Okay.
I love winters here.
Okay.
Less people.
I'm getting used to it. It's a bit cold for me. I wasn't prepared. I've been having to borrow clothes and stuff, but I'm making it work.
Listen, 1, the fashion's better.
It is.
And 2, again, less people on the street. I love when there's less people on the street.
You know what I really appreciate about the fashion in New York? It's not about the labels. It's really about how you wear it. Like in LA, everybody is label.
Really?
Yeah. But out here, it's like, it's about the look.
Yeah, it's about the vibe, what you're trying to like. Yeah.
Second question. Azalea Banks or Nicki Minaj?
I'm gonna give it to Nicki.
Okay.
And you know what's crazy? I'm not even a bar.
Okay.
But to see what she has done and continues to do, you can't help but be like, wow, you came, you saw, you conquered.
Yeah.
Period.
So I'm a late Azalea fan. And I've been like, something about her is just so captivating to me. Like it's almost like I
you want to
can't
know what
turn
it
away.
is? It's like they say that certain people have it. I think everyone has it, but a very few of us actually tap into what it is.
Yeah.
And I think she's tapped into what she is, you know?
Yeah. And it's like, even when it may be something that if you saw somebody else do, it might look corny, but something about when she does it, I'm just drawn in.
Yeah, because she really is doing it because that's who she is. Yeah, no.
Shout out to both, though.
No, yeah, 100%.
Third question. If you could work with anybody, dead or alive, who would you work with?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, you know what's so funny? I listened to the last one, and the question was, who would you like to meet, at least? Now you hit me with the work. Damn, that's such a hard question. Honestly, I feel like everyone's going to say, duh. But Beyonce. I would love to work with Beyonce.
And I can see you working with her on everything from the music to the look to everything.
You know, it's crazy. I've met certain people on her team. Not her yet. like I got to interview her stylist back in the day.
Oh, that's dope.
I got to attend, oh my God, My Publicist is Black, which was hosted by her publicist.
Wow.
And it's funny, not many people can say this, but I made Beyonce's publicist cry in a good way. Literally, of course, you know, she attends the Met with her every year. And there was my very, very first year that I did it. I remembered that her van pulled up and she hopped out. And of course, the crowd is going, Beyonce, Beyonce. And in the midst of that, they were also yelling, Yvette, Yvette. So I'm like, who is this Yvette woman? Clearly, she is very powerful.
The Beehive is wild.
No, for real. And flash forward, we're in the same room with each other. And Also, I interned at Ebony Magazine, and I
Okay.
remember the night before she dropped, was it Beyonce? Everyone was like, "That's being weird. I think Beyonce about to drop something." So the name kept coming up, and I was just like, okay, so I must meet this woman. Flash
Yeah.
forward, we're in the same room. I'm telling her the stories. As I'm telling her this story, she starts crying. And I'm like, oh. I mean, it's a good cry, but I'm like, okay. Sorry.
That's hilarious. That's memorable.
Still on the
though.
team, though. Shout out.
Oh man. My fourth question
Mhm.
is, what advice would you give to 17-year-old Javelle?
Oh, honestly, none.
Yeah.
I would literally exactly how things played out is exactly how I would want them to play out.
That's dope.
Even the bad stuff.
That's dope. Honestly, that might be one of my favorite answers I've heard so far.
Yeah.
And what's a reminder? It's the last question. What's a
Mhm.
reminder you want to give to future Javelle?
Whenever you feel lost, whenever you can't hear, be still. Be still. Always check your ego. And you got it.
That's dope. That's dope. Javelle, where can the people find you? Where can they find the music?
Well, it's on all streaming platforms. It's JE_VEL. And you can find me on I really am trying to get off of Instagram. I really am. It's
I'm trying to move completely off of social
Me
media
too.
into more like, I want to connect directly with people that want to connect with me, newsletter,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But social media,
Don't get me wrong. I understand that it's a useful tool.
For
Hence
sure.
why
For
I'm
sure.
always checking my DMs, because people do find me that way.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, oh my God, you get on, and then next thing you know, you're interacting and you're just catching up on people's lives. And I don't think we're supposed to be that tapped in all the time. And I think that we lose just like human connection, because now I'm sitting here with you, already done. I know everything you did. So what are we
Yeah.
talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you do Bash's Instagram, but if you do want to follow me, it is JE_VEL.
That's what's up. Javelle, I appreciate you so much for coming through. I really do. Like this was fun, and I look forward to just connecting with you more. I really do.
Same.
Yeah.
It's I think maybe I could add that to a previous question that you asked. What I'm looking forward to do next year is just, again, cultivate those relationships and
Yeah.
see where they go and see how we could essentially help each other flourish. Yeah.
Thank you, Javelle.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for tuning in. This is Mike Brown, and this is The Art of Letting Go. Peace.
New York.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of The Art of Letting Go. If you like what you heard, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen, as well as leave a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and write in the comments. Great show. Whatever you write. I do read the comments. Other people do as well. And, we just want to keep the conversations going. If you would like to further support the show, we do have a Patreon where I do share exclusive content, exclusive music, exclusive episodes, exclusive. So I would love if y'all signed up for the Patreon. There's a link in the bio, as well as signing up for the newsletter. Like I said, I'm getting off of social media slowly. I'm progressively making my exit off of social media, and I would love if you guys join me on my journey with my newsletter. You can sign up for that as well. That's all I got for you guys. Please send in your questions. I love getting questions from you all, whether we answer them on the podcast or we answer them in the newsletter. I love to respond to your questions. I thank you all so much for being here. And this is Mike Brown, and this is The Art of Letting Go. Keep letting go. Peace.